What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Lock. Old school NBA. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Watch the first couple minutes of that Jets game. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. As a Vikings fan, I was very sad. I hope he's okay. I mean that sincerely, actually. He's not on the Packers anymore. I have no reason to cheer against him. But anywho, you guys are probably watching football. This is going to be coming out after that, which is exciting to everybody involved because then you'll actually watch it. We'll be able to talk a little MLB here. We got 17 potential games here. I'm going to talk through why that is. 2 rainouts. The White Sox game, which I never saw in a million years. Kansas City, Chicago getting rained out. Didn't look like there was a lot of rain. The Boston, New York one in Fenway, the lock. Well, that got rained out. The weather got increasingly worse. I saw that there was going to be some precipitation. It got worse and worse as the day went on. Potential doubleheader there as well. So 17 MLB games. I know that makes producer Jacob very, very happy. You know what also makes producer Jacob very, very happy other than NBA season, which is almost here? Almost here, my friend. Caesars Sportsbook. That makes him happy because, well, in the great state of Nevada, they've got it there. Caesars Sportsbook in Nevada. It's Nevada. I know that it is that. I just was trying to be a nerd, but it didn't work. But Caesar Sportsbook works. The link down below. Sign up. Get yourself up to $250 in bonus bets. That's $50 bonus bets added to your account when you bet 50, not 50 cents, $50. It's great. 5 more pieces of ammo to be able to fire up the Caesar Sportsbook. That is pretty great. Only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'll talk about them very, very quickly a little later in our program, but lots of baseball, lots to get to. NFL Lindy's was awesome on Friday. I appreciate all of you guys. Check that out next Friday. That's all. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Our day begins with doubleheader, potentially number 1 and then number 2 coming up later. His name, number 2, Boston and New York. But Kansas City and Chicago here. I'm running back game 1. Obviously, there's always things that are subject to change, but great opportunity to be able to react and make some money. We did it in game 1. Ended up locking in the premium Discord Atlanta -1.5. Of course, they made us sweat like crazy. We also bet the over of that game for a half unit. It was a beautiful time. Beautiful time. Would have been great if some of them. Well, anyway, Bryce Harper ends up hitting a 2-run yaya. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, of course, though. Atlanta, Kevin Pillar, the hero of the people. It was beautiful. 10-8. They take it down over, just absolutely overwhelmingly smashed. But carrying you over to today, why I bring that up is that I have the same analysis of Singer and Cease as what I had yesterday. It'd be weird if I didn't. Obviously, this is a potential morning game, which can change certain things. You can group on Fangraphs if you would like, fangraphs.com. You can see time of day, whether a pitcher played well then. Or that's ridiculous because there's so many variables that change in baseball. The stadium could be set up a little bit differently when you're talking about a Campton or things of that nature. You could have lineups that are just drastically worse in September as people are called up from AAA to just try them out. But again, Kansas City, Chicago, they should probably do that. Or, scenarios where the temperature isn't as crazy hot as it might be other times, or like an afternoon in Kansas or in Chicago might be warmer than an evening. And again, so many variables that I'm not going to be factoring that in. It's the exact same analysis. I'm going to be leaning on the Kansas City side here in this first round about Brady Singer. We saw the number being pretty decent plus money there, anything north of plus 130, plus 140, but like, why? Dylan Cease is the much better pitcher. I don't see a reason to be betting this scenario under the odds that we saw earlier today. But moving ourselves to the potential game 2, this is something that I definitely want to have on my radar. You should have on your radar. I love radar. Mr. Radar, sir. That is Spaceballs. I always drink coffee when I'm looking at radar. We got Mr. Lyles, Mr. Toussaint. And Jordan Lyles has not been good this entire season. And Toussaint, he's had moments. That's the nicest way of putting it. What he does is he induces a lot more ground balls, 51.6% compared to Jordan Lyles, 34.2%. Pretty drastic difference. He also limits barrels at a much better rate, 7.5% compared to Lyles' 10.3%. Now, Tukey also strikes out more batters, 22.6% compared to Jordan Lyles' 15.8%. So what I'm saying is that even though we don't have a line available for pretty much any scenario, now they threw out a line, it's off the board here at the moment, but just because this game got rained out of the middle of nowhere, it was a couple hours ago. But I'm looking very, very intently here at the White Sox side of things. You want to flip it around, put your thing down, zip it, reverse it. It's your from a difference win yet. Good stuff. Chicago, money line. Want to be reacting to lineups, want to be reacting to news. Great reason to be in that premium Discord. Again, game 1, Braves, good time to be alive. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Yankees and Red Sox want to get this played on Tuesday. This happened about 25 minutes ago. Producer Jacob, he's mad at me. He's like, what are you doing? You have to add another game? You have to give more analysis? You have to talk more? No, I'm going to be clean, concise this program because I did NFL Lindy's. I was professional, guys. I can do things without singing. Oh, I already sang. No, I did like spoken word rap of Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. That's probably not very professional. But she's lovely, and she performed at a Super Bowl once, so it doesn't matter, had sex. Carlos Rodon, friends, Nick Pivetta here on the other side. I am positive that we see both of these pitchers in some capacity in a game 1 or a game 2 setting. Now, there hasn't even been a game 2 announced here yet, but I'm assuming because the Yankees, completely out of playoff consideration, the Red Sox on the fringe of it, they want to get this game played, even though they're generally divisional rivals who, if you had more months in the season, you just find another series later to be able to fire it up here. But I think they want this played, and they want it played on Tuesday. So, Rodon, Pivetta, we have the numbers for that matchup. It is subject to change. So, know the rules at your book. FanDuel, I know that they do things where, hey, you bet the game 1, you bet the game 2, you bet. This would probably get voided either way because game 2 hasn't been announced. But just saying, Rodon has had an abysmal season. Nick Pivetta, he started to turn it on here in a very prominent way. Went demoted, went to the bullpen, then drove people just absolutely mad, bonkers, crazy. But I see no reason that we wouldn't want to go out of our way to go pick on Carlos Rodon in some capacity if this ends up being your game 1. So we're going to talk about it as if this is game 1. This could very well be game 2 for this analysis. Now, I need Cutter Crawford to be on the mound in some capacity, to be the one backing it like crazy here. But Nick Pivetta, this is also kind of a lean with it, lock with it type situation as well, because he's got much better strikeout stuff. You do have Jason Dominguez, who got put on the 10-day IL. I feel so bad for that kid. He was electric boogie woogie and just figured out how to do things right out of the gate. Needed to learn how to loft the ball a little bit more, but it wasn't a problem when he's hitting complete line drive bullets out of ballparks. But he's going to be out here for the foreseeable future. But I look at Rodon as somebody that you just kind of go out of your way to pick on with a 358 xWOBA, 479 expected slugging, 10% walk rate, 20% K rate. These are not the droids you've been looking for. They're just not. These are not the droids you've been looking for. Carlos Rodon used to be R2-D2. Now he is like, trying to think of like a really bad droid from Star Wars. He's like the one that they have to revive. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one from the Mandalorian that they end up having that's, it's got like the bullet thing, but then it gets revived, but then it gets shut down right away. And now Grogu owns that bitch. It's fantastic. I think that analogy worked, but we're going to lean with it, lock with it here, because again, Nick Pivetta got the strikeout stuff to be determined. Now, the next scenario, of course, we got a blank canvas. Here you are, TBD. We're going to talk through it. Cutter Crawford. I'm just simply going to lean because I do think there's a chance that the New York Yankees also pull out Vasquez as somebody that they might want to be utilizing here. Randy Vasquez, even though the 19.1% K rate, 11.3% walk rate, 357 xWOBA, 448 expected slugging, not the best numbers across the board, but I do think you get a very, very poor price. You get a very, very bad price. Terrible price. The worst prices of all the prices, but the price is not right, Bob. Shout out Bob Barker. He was a real one. Da-dun-da-dun. 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 Lean. I'm not going to sing. I'm done. Finally, something somewhat normal. And now we get to purely kind of like lean lock. Now, these numbers just dropped for the first time for me. I haven't seen these yet. This is the first time I think this has happened all season long. The producer, Jacob, has beat me to the draw here on numbers. So I'm going to start running this live for the next 2 minutes in my little sim. And when we get back, we're going to have, because I had this as a lean lock, but same thing as before, I wanted to probably jam this spot with Mr. John Means back in our lives, going up against, of course, Adam Wainwright. You see a 10.5 total in Camden? It's lovely. It's a big one. So big. But anyway, we want to be looking at targeting Adam Wainwright in these last days of his big league career. You heard me. It's not surprising any of you. He has an 11.3% K rate. It is lower than his barrel rate of 12.4%. A 417 xWOB, a 590 expected slugging. If this guy hadn't done generational things for this franchise, he would have been sent out on a rail to Yuma. Like, gone. The train to Yuma. Some of you know. Some of you don't. It's okay. Producer Jacob does. He loves himself some movies. Maybe you do. I don't know. I just know Adam Wainwright, not good at pitching. And Mr. John Means here, this dude is really good. 40% hard hit percentage, 417 expected slugging, just a 20.6% K rate. And oh my God, can we hurry up over here on my spreadsheet? This is great. Also, I hope this isn't slowing down my internet. It does that from time to time. But oh yeah, I'm in a new house. I'm in a new studio. It's not going to slow it down because it's fantastic. This is the first time I've ever had to have a time crunch on it though. So here we go. Normally I just make Jacob wait 30 minutes. Anyway, John Means, over the course of his big league career, this southpaw just is really set up nicely. 4.03 expected ERA, 3.02 expected ERA the year previous in 2020. He never walks guys, never gets himself in trouble in that department. And St. Louis, yes, they've got some bats, but they're going to start resting some guys coming down to the end of this season. There's some guys who want to put up some career numbers. And yes, there are some lefty killers in Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, but I brought it up a million times. I might as well bring it up again. That fence out in left field, it's taller, it's wider, it's more difficult to hit the ball out of. It is so difficult on right-handed power in Camden as opposed to lefties who have a pretty good chance. You know what? Adam Wainwright, power to the people. It's going to be beautiful. So John Means, friends, we are going to just back this dude even in a limited pitch capacity because, of course, yes, the long relievers aren't the greatest things in sliced bread that you're looking at here on the Baltimore side, but you got any scenario where we're getting down to the end of it where you're going to be running into Bautista. So, survey says, are we ready? Are we ready? Lock! Lock it. But it's -1.5. I have to throw that out there. You who just come into the picks and don't listen to me are going to hate me tomorrow. But Baltimore, -1.5 is even money. That, my friends, is a lock from me. Money line, parlay piece if you feel like it, but more than likely just a little bit overvalued at this number. I'd rather back Joni Mitchell than Jonah Don. That didn't even make sense here. That didn't make sense. A lot of what I said doesn't make sense, but my picks are good. My picks are good because I do this. That one. That's not what I do. My internet just cut out for frickin' Sims, for the love of God. You should also check out all the great Sim stuff we have here at Stokastic. You got to have that part of your process in the DFS streets. Obviously, I've been working very, very hard to be able to bring you good betting content with the idea of a market-based approach at OddsShopper, the projection-based approach at Stokastic, merging the two and helping you win some dollars. But pretty unpredictable here, if you ask me. The Washington Nationals, Pittsburgh Pirates. Yes, the Washington Nationals are beating the crap out of them, but it's so hard when you have two teams that are out of contention, that have nothing to play for. They might pinch hit in some random spots. They might do some things where they just give other pitchers a chance to try them out. See how it is. It's like when you go to the grocery store and the iced coffee you're looking for is out. And you have to try something different, but it's still iced coffee. You just want to give it a shot. Why not? Not a perfect analogy, but that happened to me today. And I wanted to tell you. It was very important to me. By the way, the coffee concentrate that you get from Stumptown, that shit is fire. It's fire. You need to have it in your life. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. I also don't know what to tell you about the Pittsburgh pitching situation here. There's a couple of different options that they could go to. Could we go to Andre Jackson? Woo, he's not for real. But I think the most likely combination, it probably ends up being Bailey Falter, the lefty here. 4.65 ERA, 1.34 whip. 1-8 record, which, again, that doesn't encapsulate anything because it's usually a reflection of your lineup behind you in addition to your pitching complement, and it doesn't mean a damn thing. But it's not good when it's 1-8. It's not good. That means you gave up runs. Not a lot of zeros and ones and twos probably sitting behind that in the whole repertoire. So just throwing it out there. Terrible pitching. Terrible opportunity here, but we have at least the opportunity to go after Jonah Don with one bat in particular. Jonah Don, 47.1% hard hit percentage, 15.9-degree average launch angle. Who hits it really high from the Pittsburgh side? Jack Sawinski, 23.7-degree average launch angle. What are we doing? We got to bet him. Anything better than plus 325 for the guy that, do you know how many homers he has? I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1. 24 homers, which is a little bit surprising for Jack Sawinski. I know he hit a lot of them earlier, then went cold and whatever. Jack Sawinski's going to go yard for us, so that's cool. We should probably bet it. I got Bailey Falter's former team here when I didn't have a segue. Zach Wheeler's on the mound. He's exceptionally good. Max Fried's on the mound. He's exceptionally good, but we're still looking at a 9 total because of these offenses. They are just ridiculous, but at least you neutralize for at least 5, 6, 7 innings. You neutralize a couple of those Phillies lefties. Trey Turner, he's started to turn himself into an absolute pirate, just pillaging everything. It's the baseball. It's gold. It's straight up gold. Guy, my analogies suck. Just leave me alone. Alec Boehm's back in this lineup too. You get GT Realmuto, who's still one of the best catchers in terms of hitting in baseball and defense too. 467 expected slugging, 338 xWOBA. So overall, still not the worst backing in some capacity if you're looking at the Philly side, considering you're going to get a much better number because Zach Wheeler going up against Max Fried. But do I want to go try to make that a thing here? I think Atlanta will still continue to, they're minus 120 is what it is. Again, plus 108. How many times do you get plus 108 on Zach Wheeler? I'm going to bring that up with the pitcher a little bit later in the program. And so with 17 potential games here on the slate, I just want to pick and choose my spots a little bit more carefully. Strongly prefer going to the other guy, considering he's not facing the frickin' Braves, who, have the best WRC plus by a mile against right-handed and left-handed and every-handed pitching. If a guy was throwing it with both hands, they'd be the best in baseball at that too. Just chest pass. We got knuckleballs. Can we get a chest pass? That would be really inefficient. That's why you need to snap your elbow. Shohei Ohtani style. UCL. Jason Dominguez style. God, why is UCL, why are these UCLs just falling off? We removed, pitchers hitting in baseball. Maybe we should just remove throwing. Just have a home run derby. That sounds terrible. It sounds really awful. Then you're basically just watching croquet or somebody at a driving range. That's what it is. It's going and paying to watch somebody hit balls at a driving range if you were going to have a home run derby. Anybody interested in hearing a play? Under 9. I love these two starting pitchers. How could you not? 31.9% hard hit percentage for Max Fried, 260 xWOBA, 315 expected slugging, 25% K rate. Zach Wheeler, 27.7% K rate, 275 xWOBA. Yes, this is a difficult spot for both of them. Nobody's denying that. But you rarely get pitchers of this pedigree at a 9. This is projected closer to a lock for me. I'm only going a like because God forbid I say, lock button on an under of 9 here, and both of these guys get just shamboozled. I don't need that on my conscience. So under 9, just a like. Kind of an interesting one here for you is we have the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Detroit Tigers. You got a bunch of questionable pitcher situations, but I've done the dirty work. I don't want to do no dirty work. Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. I said I wasn't going to sing. I've sung 48 times. It's okay. Back to being professional. Brandon Williamson on the mound, making his return to this line, or to this starting pitcher rotation. There we go. I had to find it in my brain. He had COVID-19 is what it was. So hopefully he's feeling better. Brandon Williamson taking on Joey Wentz. And on the Wentz side of things, oh boy, 6.65 ERA, 1.64 whip. Horrendous numbers across the board. He's been kind of utilized in a bullpen capacity here, quite a bit here, but I don't know. He had 98 pitches to start before that, only 21 pitches here. Maybe they just go and limit his innings to some extent, or doesn't really matter. I'm not looking at Cincinnati because I don't think there's going to be any numbers to really look at that look enticing. You take this lineup outside of Cincinnati, and then the numbers, in Detroit, a lot harder to hit home runs. Plays difficult for home runs. Hits pretty good for doubles in the gap and things of that nature. And that's where I have a unique play for you because unique New York. I feel very good about Spencer Torkelson here in this spot going up against Brandon Williamson, who, for all intents and purposes, has been a little bit better than I anticipated when I was digging into some of his numbers. We don't even know what this entire pitch count's going to look like, but on the surface, he looks calm and ready to give up not bombs, but doubles. We're looking at, 42.5% hard hit percentage? This has way more to do with Spencer Torkelson, if we're going to be honest with it. Here we go. There it updated. You got against lefties. He's been awesome. Less than 100 expected ISO, but a 202 expected ISO against right-handed hitters over the course of the season, 210 actual ISO, just a 10.29 swinging strike rate. Well, actually, that's decent enough, but Spencer Torkelson has a 293 ISO and a 305 expected ISO against lefties. You know why he only has 10 home runs against them? Because he plays half of his ball games in Detroit. That is your answer, which is why Spencer Torkelson at plus money, if you have 1.5 total bases plus money, which I think will be something that's in the realm of possible, considering some of Williamson's numbers, I think you just fire it up. So I'm actually going to lean towards the total bases rather than the home runs. I don't do this very often, but when I do, it's for a reason, so take note of it. I said that I had a pitcher that I strongly preferred to be on the betting card, who was a fantastic pitcher who just happened to be going up against a team and in a spot that I thought was much more attackable. And that, my friends, is Max Scherzer taking on Hyun-Jin Ryu here in this spot. How many times do you get to back Max Scherzer as a dog on the road? Answer is almost never. On the road, it's obviously far more likely. You saw the Justin Verlander duel. You've seen it a number of times, but this was pretty alarming and made me have to go really digging into Hyun-Jin Ryu because I know what I'm getting with Scherzer. Yes, he has fly ball tendencies. That's always been his MO. He'll give up a solo shot or two here and there, but he still has that 282 xWOBA, 28.6% K rate. I just had to take note of why the books are backing Hyun-Jin Ryu. This Toronto lineup, I understand that, but prefer Texas's even in its current iteration where Avisal Garcia, that's a huge omission, no doubt about it. But it's not like Toronto's been all of that in a bag of potato chips over the course of this season. Yes, they continue to avoid strikeouts at a pretty decent clip, 21.5%, but just a 106 WRC plus. We generally see them in the top 5 of baseball, the top 3 of baseball. They're sitting in 8th. Texas against righties is at 112, but obviously Hyun-Jin Ryu hitting from the left side of things, or pitching from left side of things, that's the right way of saying it, a 119 WRC plus the Texas Rangers have. So I prefer the Texas Rangers lineup in its current iteration, even without Garcia here in this spot. Hopefully he can get back soon. I think it was just 10-day IL for him. But the whole point is that Hyun-Jin Ryu, he has to be doing something that I'm not noticing to be able to get back at this kind of a clip. The 51% ground ball rate, that's the first thing that shows up. 34.3% hard hit percentage, sure. But he's still got a 295 xWOBA, but 379 expected slugging's okay. But if you're not missing bats against Texas, you're probably in some sort of trouble with Mitch Garver, Ezekiel Duran, Leody Taveras, some of the better bottom of the order hitters in all of baseball, along with left on left Corey Seager crime. So, I'm a little confused by where we're getting this number, so just play a half unit on it. I wouldn't be surprised if these flip-flopped, where you had Texas minus 115, and you had Toronto minus 105-ish coming into tomorrow, minus 104, minus 110. Do your due diligence, shop for the best line, but I don't see how I don't back Max Scherzer here on the road. Texas Rangers get it done for us. Just a half unit, just to see how it feels. This feels awesome. Check out Caesar Sportsbook, friends. Bet $50. Get yourself $250 in bonus bets right now. You simply go to the link below. Take advantage of it now because you'll get $50 instantly here on this lovely little Tuesday. But in addition to that, every Monday for the next 4 weeks, Caesars is going to drop a nice little gift in your account. I don't think that's the sound of it going in your account. It's more like, cha-ching! A little bit of that, baby. You get yourself 4 $50 bonus bets in addition to that 51 that shows up right away. So that is $250 in bonus bets from Caesars Sportsbook. Sign up at all the books, whether it's BetMGM, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel, I don't care. Get exposure to them so you can get the best lines every single day because in the long run, that is what everybody does who is a profitable sports bettor. Unless you're just the luckiest person on planet Earth. So if you're not the luckiest person on planet Earth, Shop for the best freaking lines every single time. Don't subject yourself to some kind of an issue where you're just like, come on. Shop for the best lines. It's called Odds Shopper, right? Odds Shopper. Shopping odds. Look at that. It's genius. Only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Producer Jacob, back to the picks, my friend. Hold on to your buttos. Movie joke. Jurassic Park. Anyway, Ryan Nelson on the mound here for the Diamondbacks taking on the Mets. This is actually another spot where I don't know if that game hasn't started yet, to my knowledge. Has it? The Mets, obviously. Oh, there it is. It has started. Top of the fourth. All right. Wanted to double check. This is the one that I was like, if I have to add another doubleheader to this section, I'm probably going to get murdered. Not by anybody else other than myself. No. Producer Jacob loves me, right? Hey, got one of those. It's good. Thanks, pal. Ryan Nelson, that's got to be what it feels like to watch him on the mound for your baseball team. It's not an ideal feeling. 43% hard hit percentage, 352 xWOBA. But now he throws a four-seamer a lot, 53.8% at the time. You know, hits four-seamers really, really hard. DJ Stewart this season still at 52.2% hard hit percentage, 582 expected slugging, back in that lineup. Played over the weekend too. It's just that I didn't see that and I needed to update my stuff today. And yay, there we go. Daniel Vogelbach back in our lives against some righties. Brandon Nimmo, he's really good. Francisco Lindor. They've got a lot of lefties who could do some damage in these righties, whether it's Mark Ventos, who's now joining the party here, Pete Alonso, obviously, Francisco Alvarez, and then, yeah, Brett Beatty still has a 44.1% hard hit percentage. He's the third baseman, got demoted to AAA, got called back up here. Hopefully he can start stringing some stuff together. Good spot for them going up against Nelson. On the other side, Jose Butto, 51.4% hard hit percentage, 51.4% four-seamer usage. Primarily all fastball going down the pipe, and it's a little bit problematic. Kind of want to back him here against Ryan Nelson because, well, even though it's a 17% K rate, 16% walk rate here for Jose Butto, not going to pitch all that long into this game, runs into a Mets bullpen situation, but can he hold down the fort long enough? I do not know. It's sad, too, because he got extended to 81 pitches in that first start back in like 3 weeks. He had 63 the one before it. God, can we get him out of the game? Even though 3.86 ERA, that might be something people like, might be something they look at. Don't look at ERA. It doesn't mean a whole lot. Expected ERA means a whole lot more. His is worse, as you might expect. Anywho, we're looking Mets, if anything, here when this line drops. But my God, more than likely, just stay away. Stay away. I want to check in on... well, my baseball team, I'm sure they're just getting absolutely eviscerated. Sure enough, Tyler Glasnow, 58 pitches, 6 strikeouts. Ooh. Looking good for us, looking good. I actually learned a tiny tail end of it at the very end, like 2 minutes before that game started. Hopefully it pans out here. Obviously talked about that progression. I've been doing so much football analyst stuff too. Oh, man. I love it. It's so good to have a new sport back, but it takes a lot of work, and it also takes a lot of work to keep everything updated and give you information. So this is kind of a pretty simple one where this is the pitcher that I would want to back, if anything, from a strikeout perspective. Now, the Miami Marlins, no idea who's going to be on the mound for them here in this spot. I'm assuming it's Edward Cabrera. He pitched on the 6th. It would be the 12th. I think it's got to be him, but Miami just hasn't been updating things as early either. But on the Milwaukee side, we're looking at Freddie Peralta, fastball Freddie himself. And this isn't the Miami lineup that's like as easy to pick on as once upon a time. You get a Josh Bell in there who doesn't really strike out nearly as much as like a Garrett Cooper did back when he was with the Marlins, and Josh Bell just never really strikes out. 21.8% K rate's actually higher for him over the course of this season. But a lot of ways this lineup can come out with, like Yuli Gurriel, 14% K rate, 5.9% K rate from Luis Uraz. So you kind of got to be a little bit mindful of this play. But the point is, fastball Freddie is so damn good. Up to a 30.8% K rate now on the season. Wild type of outcomes, too, against Philadelphia and Texas in 2 of his last 4 starts, 10 and 11 in those, as well as a 9-ball against San Diego, smack dab in the middle of those 2 outings. Now, he only had 4 strikeouts against Pittsburgh on the road, But back at home, he has just been absolutely lights out. And I'm not a big home road splits guy to a certain extent, but you get to sleep in your own bed. You know how to pitch to your ballpark, stuff like that, maybe. I don't know. You go through your routine more consistently. It's your weight room. It's your clubhouse. I don't know. All I know is that Freddie Peralta, 1.30 whip at away from what was formerly known as Miller Park. 0.99 whip here in a home games, 232 batting average away, 188 batting average at home. So those don't have anything to do with the strikeouts, but they have to do with him just being on the mound, being more efficient, pitching longer into games as a result. So there you go. Fastball Freddie, somebody I have my eye on, up to 8 strikeouts. Curious where this prop ends up dropping. You could add it to the Milwaukee Brewers side because Cabrera, not that scary of a addition to your card where you try to put the two together, but kind of need to know the numbers. They're kind of important. But Freddie Peralta, he's on my radar. He should definitely be on yours. Pay attention how that Miami lineup shows out. And yeah, you're going to want Jazz Chisholm in it. Let me just throw that out there right from the get-go. 30.6% K rate leading this team. My Minnesota Twins taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. The clock struck midnight on Cinderella, Zach Littell over there, going up against my Minnesota Twins and Joe Ryan. We'll talk through a little bit of Littell, but first, check in on Aaron Rodgers. Oh, that seems bad. People are saying Achilles. That's not good. Ankle was the original thing. Achilles. I'm sure it'll be his knee by the end of this show or something, but hopefully he's actually okay. That's not great for my best ball. I thought Garrett Wilson and him were a great tandem to be drafting a bunch. And not in year long. Best ball. If you don't know what I'm talking about, use promo code Lindy. Check out Underdog Fantasy. Fantastic stuff. Again, see? I got no favorites, baby. I just try to make the money. We're going to make money here betting against Zach Littell is what we're going to do. 43.3% hard hit percentage, 280 expected batting average, sub 19% K rate. If you're not missing bats against these Minnesota Twins, you're in a lot of trouble. Specifically, you're in a lot of trouble if you're a right-handed pitcher in these kind of scenarios who doesn't throw any sort of gas, which is exactly kind of what he's a middle-of-the-road guy, 93.8 mile per hour average. I mean, that's like 54th percentile or something. Now, his pitching values do rate a little bit above average for me across the board, as well as on Baseball Savant, but I got to tell you, I'm not impressed. The four-seamer slider combination throws in a split finger, and that's kind of an interesting pitch as it is that he's kind of combining into it. 408 expected slugging. It's been his best secondary pitch at avoiding some of those home run balls and avoiding some of those issues. Only 2 home runs allowed against that pitch over the course of that season, and it's primarily, well, the main reason that I'm throwing that in for analysis is that when I'm trying to project out home runs for things, I want to kind of find square peg, square hole. Who hits certain pitches correctly, and then he's going to just pepper lefties with that pitch. And I'm assuming my guy Matt Wallner will not be on the card as a result, mainly because he has not been very good against that pitch so far in his AAA numbers and his big league numbers. Yes, your boy's doing his research, and it's easy to do when it's your own team and you care about it, but you got to do it on the other side of things too. How does Joe Ryan profile against these Tampa Bay Rays? Answer: very well. It's scary to seeing Luke Raley and Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe and a number of these guys. Hey, I got the Lau and Lowe thing correct for the first time maybe ever. Wander Franco's never playing baseball for this team ever again, too, which is good for a pitcher opposing people and good for society. But Joe Ryan, 285 xWOBA, 220 expected batting average. Again, 29.1% K rate, facing a Tampa Bay team that is watered down compared to its previous iterations of this season. Minus 122. Sure, I will back my Twins here in this situation if you let me. They're 5th now in baseball with a 109 WRC plus against righties. Their offense has just taken steps ahead. They've stayed healthier than normal. We have power. We have some type of speed on the base paths from time to time. And again, Matt Wallner, he was the catalyst. Royce Lewis is the truth. It's a beautiful time to be alive there in Minnesota. They're going to get it done for us. I don't bet my team often, but when I do, it's been going pretty well this season. 5 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bells. We get to an absolute dud. Minus 300, minus 125 on the run line. No, thank you. Pass. Move on with my life here. But first, JP Sears, Justin Verlander. Sears is closed. Verlander is not single because he's the luckiest man quite possibly on earth. Have you seen her crawdaddy? That was my Kate Upton crawdaddy. I know it was like 15 years ago or something, but she's still kind of cute. If you're into that supermodel kind of thing. Don't bet this game, guys. Just don't. Over 8.5, just going to be a lean. Do we really have to get into this? JP Sears is actually better than you think. Justin Verlander, Houston. Don't bet this game. We're heading to Coors, where kind of a fun deal. I got to go back and watch it. I'm going to go pull up the MLB app. I'm going to go rewind. I want to see Chris Bryant's first at bat because he makes, he's been out for a long, long time. He made his return out of the middle of nowhere on Monday against his former team, the Cubs. I want to at least see, because I'm sure it's like majority Cubs fans that are there in Colorado. They travel, one of the best teams in terms of traveling nonstop here. And well, why don't we just keep backing him here? You got a pretty easy situation here where it's Javier Assad versus Chris Flexen. And Flexen in his candy paint, rolling dank, sip a drink on an 84 swing. Not very good. Not tearing up the lane. It's been a problem. He's been one of the worst starters in baseball this season. 370 xWOBA, but 290 expected batting average, 500 expected slugging, 9% barrel percentage, throwing a weak 40.7% usage on a four-seamer that does nothing, doesn't really move. Peppers like the top right corner of the zone and just gets hit up. Just hit up. 7.36 ERA, 6.02 expected ERA. This is not the spot to be trying to do anything there. So let's back Javier Assad here. Again, I don't think Javier Assad is the best pitcher on planet Earth. 269 expected batting average, 18.1% K rate. And this Rockies lineup is looking better and better and better. Nolan who? Jones. Nolan who? Jones. Now batting third here. Ryan McMahon. God, can I get one more Mike Jones reference in here? I'm going to try. Ezekiel Tavar. Lurius Montero. Brenton Doyle. Get Mike Jones up on the low because Mike Jones about to blow. See, I said Mike instead of Nolan. It's fine. Frustrating. Charlie Blackmon on the other side. They're going to be guys that they're better than normal, but I still think targetable to a certain extent. Considering this number, we're in Coors. The lineup's way better for the Cubs still. Minus 115 on the run line. I don't want to be digging with this 12 total. 11.5. I could have gotten down with that. Don't go to the alternate minus 125 just because I said that. Don't do that. Just play the run line. Minus 115, Cubs side. Pretty easy play for me. The Seattle Mariners hosting the Los Angeles Angels. And wouldn't you know it, Shohei Ohtani was expected to be back in the lineup today. Was on the lineup card, scratched. I don't know how many times that's going to happen here, but maybe they just wanted to sell some tickets in Seattle or something. Make a call. I know it's Mariners fans. They had the script. Bro. They totally sold us all of those things. Now we're going to be cheering for Seattle because I ended up on the minus 1.5. The line moved quite a bit to the point where I didn't want anybody in the premium Discord getting on that play late to be firing more than a half unit on it. But I digress. Again, something that just curious. Find out Lindy's leans, likes, and locks, and then can I say my own thing? Lindy's locks update over on X/Twitter. That is myself. I'm breaking that down for you, bringing you that good on X. It sounded drug-related, not appropriate for YouTube. I apologize to everybody, including my family. Again, it was good-natured fun. Let's talk baseball. Patrick Sandoval taking on Brian Woo. Brian Woo. Pretty sure Brian Woo will never have a game that he pitches as far into as what he had last time around and not have a strikeout. Did you see that? I'm just happy to not be one of the people who would have been there. He was in Cincinnati. He gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, 83 pitches. The guy didn't have a strikeout. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I probably am. I think you probably agree. But Brian Woo, a 23.1% K rate, way higher in AAA, and then 31.2% hard hit percentage. Everything looks good across the board here. Everything looks really good. The problem is minus 210. It always comes down to the number. Always comes down ACD to the TTN. It's hard with like a very bright light in your eyes to be able to think about that on the spot or just think in general. Probably explains a lot about me. Patrick Sandoval, 34.6% hard hit percentage, 19.5% K rate. 11.2% walk rate is a no-go here, friends. Seattle, definitely the appropriate side of this one, but like, there's a part of me that, again, Shohei Ohtani, is he going to be in the lineup? Is he not? Because he moved the line 15 cents when that news broke, and then it moved 15 cents back in the other direction like that. Shohei Ohtani, a position player moving a line like that is absolutely insane, but it makes sense. Seattle money line, just a lean. Let's get out. Yeah. Cleveland, San Francisco do have a play from this one, so we're going to fly quickly. Cal Quantrill, Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea will not be long for this game more than likely. He has been a bullpen long reliever type here this entire season, and he's been okay to some capacity. He's been running pretty unlucky in that capacity, a 5 ERA, 1.32 whip, but the strikeout stuff is back, baby. It is back. And then you have an opportunity against this Cleveland Guardians team that, yeah, they're not going to strike out as much, but his talent can overcome. And then there's just no resistance in this lineup outside of the obvious Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, full stop. Full stop. Stephen Kwan can get on base and do stuff, but not this season. Pretty brutal. Anyway, we're looking on the other side of this one. Cal Quantrill, who I just never back. 361 xWOBA, 287 expected batting average, 475 expected slugging, and it's really a lot of the reason that I'm going to be firing this one up in bulk. Even though I just said what I just said, Sean Manaea is still giving up hard contact. There's enough here with those top end of the guys in the Cleveland lineup, and then you're going to have San Francisco play the platoon game, try to go nuts, and, well, 8 seems like a low number. 8, key number on overs. We like it. We want over. It's good. Eat it. Smoke it. Drink it. Party with it. Just put a half unit on. I'm just kidding. Just don't go crazy. You've probably been wondering. We've talked about 487 baseball games on this slate. Here's your lock. My favorite spot in the entire slate. Michael Waka taking on Lance Lynn. This is a wild kind of deal that I'm looking at here with Michael Waka because he's been goodish. 35.2% hard hit percentage. Just finding ways to be effective, I think, is probably the right way of saying that rather than anything else. But here are the issues. He has a 2.99 ERA. Do you know his expected ERA? 4.53. You don't ever see somebody with a sub 3 ERA who has north of a 4.50 expected ERA. I don't know if I've seen that this entire season. It made me so vindicated because I look at Michael Waka's pitch mix and it just makes me nauseous how he gets by. He throws a changeup as his primary pitch. He has to because everything else that he throws is not very good. Now, the changeup, 190 expected batting average, 314 expected slugging. Those are fantastic numbers, but the whole point is that you got a team that's just going to be sitting on that kind of a pitch. If he's going to go out there and try to like throw that to both sides of the plate, it isn't playing well against righties. It's been good against lefties, and obviously the lefties are who you're most worried about. But if that isn't getting located, he's going to be throwing beanbag chairs here. Like just, oh, so comfy. Oh, it's so comfy. Just whack-a-mole there for the Dodgers side of things. So Michael Waka, that expected ERA makes me feel so much better about life because his fastball velo, he's never been above 91, 92 miles per hour at any point over the course of this season in an average start. He's limited hard contact to a certain extent, but here's where it gets fun as well. The launch angle, it's gone up. The ground ball rate sitting sub 32%. My God, the Dodgers. If they get a hold of it here in Dodger Stadium, it's going far, it's going long, it's going bye-bye. Now, Lance Lynn on the other side, he has revamped a lot of what he's been doing here in a Dodger uniform. I'm pretty excited about the Dodgers, even without Walker Buehler, who it was announced is not going to be pitching in the postseason after all, after they kind of teased that he was going to be returning. This is an absolute turnaround here for Lance Lynn that I want to be behind. Now, he gave up 8 and 7 earned runs against Miami and Atlanta, which sounds absolutely abysmal and terrible. But did you know he had given up only 1 in the 3 previous to that? Oh, well, there was a Boston start in between it, but I digress. Overall, the stuff, even though he has a 6.09 ERA, 1.42 whip, you get into Dodger Stadium. You're facing a San Diego team that has had major issues in terms of run creation this entire season. Now sitting at just a 101 WRC plus against right-handed pitching on the season and a 163 ISO. That is horrible. To be down at 17th in baseball with the payroll that they have is incomprehensible. That's the correct word. I used it. There you are. Lance Lynn, it feels gross. It feels disgusting. I'm actually going to have a small play on the Dodgers money line in conjunction with this total as well. But I want to get aggressive because I do think Michael Wacha is so due to get murdered. And hey, you put their ERAs next to each other. Lance Lynn is basically double that of Michael Wacha, and that can make you look stupid from time to time. But I'm getting the Dodgers against a pitcher I don't believe in at plus 125 on the run line. Every single time I'm making that play. Every single freaking time, unless the Dodgers lineup disintegrates and falls into like a sinkhole in the middle of the field, then we don't bet them. But then we have other problems on our hands. Los Angeles Dodgers, my favorite play on the board, minus 1.5. Let's get out of here. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on Tuesday slate. Check out Caesar Sportsbook. Bet $50. Get yourself $250 in bonus bets right now. Thank you to producer Jacob for not making fun of me as much this show until the very end. You don't know what I'm talking about, but it's okay. It's just for me. It's our little secret. I'll keep doing this. We got to get out of here. I got to go watch football. He's got to go live his life, and we got to go just exist in the world. Only if you're 21 and over. If you've got a gambling problem, please call 1-800. I'm talking about the Caesar Sportsbook bet, not our actual lives. But anyway, until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Tuesday.